And we're still 3 feet short of the basket.
We're going live.
We're live.
We're live.
We're live.
That's awesome. Oh, we are live. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday triple threat show. This is what it is. Sorry, I was caught unprepared by the live stream. Let me restart. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeremy Lapidus, host of the Triple Threat Show, which you are currently watching. Today, I am joined... What?
I'm watching it?
Yeah. Today, I'm joined by my two friends and co-hosts,
Shane
and
Hayden Raymer.
We've got a lot of fun things to talk about on today's show. But before we get into it, how are you guys doing? How's your week been?
I'll go first here. It's been decent. It's just working.
It doesn't have to be a chore, man.
Just got to make sure communication's okay. We don't want to try to talk over each other and oh no, you go. No, you go.
That never
Anyway.
happens.
Never, ever in the history of Zoom. No, but it's been fine. Men's leagues started again, so it's fun just to play hockey on a regular basis again. Yeah, I scored a goal the other day. Well, I actually missed the NBA Finals because I had a hockey game, unfortunately. So
I'm shocked.
I know. My priorities.
I'm shocked you even thought about watching it, honestly.
Well, because they had the chance to win it. And I'm like, all right, that's watchable, but hockey comes
Watchable.
first.
It'll be mildly entertaining.
For me, yeah. You see Steph Curry win
Hold on.
trophy.
I've got a question for you. Have you watched all the blowout games in the NHL?
No, I do not.
Okay. I meant in the NHL playoffs. Have you been watching all the blowout games in this series?
Well, I watch up until it's like a blowout, and then I'm like, all right, I got work in the morning. I'm gonna stand up for this.
Okay. I'm glad we've gotten aboard a baseline here.
Yeah. I will be honest with you when I'm just bored and I'm just not paying attention anymore. So that's all that's going on with me.
That's
what about
all.
you, Hayden?
I had an interview about 2 hours ago.
Oh, fun.
Yep. Hopefully we nailed it. I'll find out tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Who'd you interview for?
It's they have a little in Costco's they have those little kiosks where you can buy phones and stuff, and it's got Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. And so I'd be working at one of those kiosks.
Wow, he's a Costco man.
Yeah, I'd be working at the one here in Harrisonburg. But yeah.
How fancy.
No, that, and I went to Cheesecake Factory Sunday night. For girlfriend's birthday, drove her up to Nova to get Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, it's fun.
It's quite the drive, though, isn't it? It's 2 hours for Cheesecake Factory.
Just to go to Cheesecake
It's Cheesecake Factory.
I got to see my siblings and my family, though, so it was
Okay, I gotcha.
We only saw them for 30 minutes.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's what's new with me. I mean, I don't have a whole lot going on. Jeremy, how about you?
Oh, I started working, so forgive me if I fall asleep in the middle of the stream.
Yeah. I won't, but...
chasing around 12 5-year-olds is not.
It's easy.
It's not the most conducive to hosting an hour and a half show immediately afterwards. So we deal.
We ball.
Always.
Yeah.
So what are we starting off with first, Jeremy?
What are we talking about? What sports?
Sports.
Oh.
What do you mean? We're talking about the news of the day. The news of the day being that legendary tight end Rob Gronkowski has officially retired. This came out about an hour or two ago. Rob Gronkowski, probably the greatest tight end of all time, officially calls it quits. You guys mentioned. He's won 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So he's very good.
Pretty decent.
Pretty good. He played in his entire career with Tom Brady. He's retired twice now. So That's pretty good.
Maybe
You're
this time for good.
only the best players ever retire twice. So, you know, Brett Favre, he retired twice. He was pretty good at football.
Tom Brady is gonna retire.
He will
twice.
retire twice. He was also
Hopefully.
pretty good at football.
Will he? Will he retire
You know-
twice? Will he
You know,
ever
I-
retire? Do we know if he's ever gonna retire again?
You're right. He probably won't ever retire.
He'll just play until he's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Died as he lived playing football. Always.
Came out of the womb
Yes.
and was born immediately onto the football field.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was like a streaker came ran onto the football field, you know?
The youngest
Just
NFL
gave
quarterback. The youngest NFL quarterback in the history of the sport. 5 seconds old.
She was just getting into the hut position while the doctor's just laying there. Hut.
I can't.
Yeah, but he retired. He had a nice little message. You know, they always post the notes app messages on Twitter when they retire. You know, he posted a little message about everyone he was thankful for. He talked about how when he was younger, he always dreamed of playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, you know, good for him that he got that out there, that he, you know, achieved his number one dream. That doesn't happen to a lot of people. You know, they get to where they want to be, but they don't play. I mean, in football, you see it. They don't play the team that they grew up wanting to play for. His reasons for playing in Tampa were the weather.
Tom Brady.
The weather. No, he wrote this when he was like young. I don't remember what he said. But you know, the reasons were
I know what you mean.
the weather.
That's why I wanted to play in Tampa when he was a kid.
Yeah, the weather.
The weather.
Yeah. And boats. Boats were the other reason.
Boats.
So.
What are your thoughts on boats, Jeremy? Are we in and out? Are we in or out on boats?
In or out on boats?
Mm-hmm.
Boats are pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
Shane?
Yeah, they can float and everything.
Shane? In or out?
And I guess.
Okay. Just need to know what kind of people I was talking
Do you have like what's your like fondest Gronk memory? Like
Fondest Gronk memory?
is like a time where you like just watched him play and you're like, how are you supposed to stop him?
When he hosted Kids' Choice Awards, I think.
Yeah,
That
that's definitely up there.
I think that was...
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was unstoppable then.
My favorite was the time that he, you know, got on a boat and, you know, played catch with a Super Bowl trophy. That was pretty cool. Pretty unstoppable.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
You think he's for sure the greatest tight end of all time?
For
Wait,
now.
let me hear his stats, Jeremy.
Stats?
His career stats. Tell me right now. Rip him. Read him.
He's
Yes,
got like
sir.
92 touchdowns or something like that.
More than that.
He's got.
Well, he got
4
injured a lot.
touchdowns.
He got injured a lot, so
He's got 9,286 yards, 92 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Huh.
you guys
Yeah, more than
skimmed
that.
over an article before. He got injured a lot, but I think when healthy, he was
And the most important stat, he had 14,082.8 fantasy points in his career.
1 second. I'm gonna quick. We're gonna go here. We go.
Yeah, well, what I was saying earlier was I think he's the most talented tight end ever. Like if I had to pick a tight end from any era, I think Gronk is the most talented at his peak. He was easily the best. He's just when you would see him down the field and just start running, there's just no way to stop him except going for the knees, which led to some of his injuries. But I think he's definitely the most talented tight end.
It's true. He is. You know, not only could he catch really well, he could block, and that's hard to find. You know, George Kittle can block, but I don't know if he's.
What's your thing of defining tight ends?
Defining tight ends.
Like,
There's
what's
a lot
stat?
of ways. I don't think there's a stat for it. There's something where
Because I know Football Reference does like their approximate value or whatever.
Well, they take into account probably the blocking and receiving. Um, there's not one stat because you have Travis Kelce, who's the greatest offensive tight end of all time, right? No doubt about that. And then you have Rob Gronkowski, who was an incredible offensive tight end, but he also could at any point pick up a block very easily. And there's not really a stat for that. Those are two completely different positions,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm just looking at stat heads, like top tight ends by average value or approximate value, and he's 5 on there.
Who's ahead of him?
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, I was gonna say
No,
Tony
that's
Gonzalez
fair.
is.
That's
Antonio
fair.
Gates.
Yeah, he's gonna be up there.
Jason Witten.
No.
Really?
And Shannon Sharp.
Okay.
Shannon Sharp played for
Shannon
17
Sharp-
years. Or Jason Witten played for 17 years. That's like
Jason Witten is not better than any of
No.
those guys that you mentioned.
Yeah. The thing about Gronk was he was injured a lot too, so that may take away from his value a bit.
Well, I mean, that's not really value. That's just like, this is a, what's it called? Like a compiling stat, So it's like, the more you play, the more you're going to have. And
That's why Antonio Gates is on there. I don't think he was particularly dominant at any point, but he just compiled a lot of stats.
236 games? I mean, Witten had the most games out of those 5 names.
Witten is by far the worst tight end that you just said.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Played 271 games. Tony Gonzalez played in 270. And then it was Antonio Gates and Shannon Sharp. And Gronk had the least by a good margin. He had 143 games played in his career.
Which is why I said in terms of just talent, I think if I were to take a tight end from anyone in history at their peak, I would take Rob Gronkowski because he was the most talented. He was the most complete package, but I'm also biased since he's like the only one I've seen on a regular basis out of all the names mentioned.
Tony Gonzalez was.
Yeah.
Let's look at fantasy points. Yeah,
You gotta look at fantasy.
That's the most important one. Who had the highest average fantasy points?
Not
Tony
average,
Gonzalez.
total.
Yeah.
Tony
Total would be Tony Gonzalez because he played more.
I don't know. Rob Gronkowski had 1,400 fantasy points.
He's number 4 all time by fantasy points. Jason Witten and Antonio Gates are still above him.
Because they've played more games.
Yeah.
And fantasy wasn't a thing when Shannon Sharp was playing.
Yeah.
I mean, they still has fantasy points.
I mean,
assigned to him because you can just take his career stats and just.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I got you.
It's fair. Anyway,
But if we go by PPR.
Oh, that's when it really matters.
Gronk is back down to 5th.
That's a shame.
Well, regardless, he's first ballot Hall of Famer and just one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Yep.
Debatably the best of all time.
Yeah, probably the best. You comeback player of the year? Huh. That's crazy.
So crazy.
Well, when you're constantly injured, like when you come back, like you'll be eligible for that reward.
Yep. That's fair.
That's fair.
All right, do you guys want to talk about hockey next?
Nah, we don't talk about hockey here. What kind of show do you take us for?
Oh, I don't know why I'm here then. Maybe I should just leave.
We can talk about hockey. Do you want to talk about hockey, Shane?
Yeah, sure. So we'll start off with the Stanley Cup Finals.
No, we're gonna start off with we're gonna start off with something else.
We're gonna start off with.
Are we ever gonna start though?
Yeah, no. We're gonna start off with the fact that
Anthony Rendon is out the rest of the year. He has a big wrist surgery.
Yeah, real sad.
Oh, he's getting surgery for that?
He's getting surgery for his wrist. Yeah.
Oof.
Which, I mean, we were talking a couple shows ago about like just how much he's getting paid.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been healthy other than the shortened 2020 season. So it's just really sucks for the Angels. It sucks for Rendon too, because I know he wants to be out there on the field. He's kind of when he was with the Nats, he wasn't really the type of like, oh, I'm like a leader type guy. He was kind of just there. I'm gonna play baseball and then leave, because that's like his job. He's not doing it for fun. But it feels like kind of recently with the Angels, he's kind of stepped up more into that kind of role and been like a veteran leader. But sucks for him, sucks for the Angels. I hope he comes back next year and is back to the MVP form we saw a couple years ago.
So do you think the Angels are done because of this injury?
Oh,
No.
I mean, they still have Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Taylor Ward is still, kind of like a come out like the breakout player of the year essentially. They still have. I mean, Max Stassi, Jared Walsh are both very solid at their position. David Fletcher is always gonna be chilling. Andrew Velasquez has been pretty solid, and as soon
David
as
Fletcher's on the IL. He's been hurt all season.
has he?
Yeah.
That explains a lot. I mean, they're second in the division right now. They just passed the Rangers. So
yeah, it's just like they were on a huge losing streak.
That's a sentence.
After
they're in second place. They just passed the Rangers.
Yeah, they were in third.
You don't hear about the Rangers being in second place in a division very often.
No.
No, you don't.
They were. They were for a little bit. Despite, Semien being awful.
He's been on a streak lately.
Oh, no, he's bad. He's over.
No,
I'm out on Semien. We're out. Out on Semien.
He got hot for a hot minute there.
A hot minute. That's a lot of hots.
Well, he's hot.
He's
hot right now.
He is hot.
Just how it is.
It's just how it is. But yeah,
so how do you think this affects the Angels going forward?
The Angels?
I mean, listen, they have more holes than like offense. They have people who they can pick up. I think the Reds have this third baseman now, Brandon Drury, who's he was like a minor league free agent, and now he's like this is gonna be the last year with the Reds. So maybe they can get some pieces. I don't know. They'll probably trade for somebody that's like half decent, but they shouldn't be moving much because they have bigger holes. I think their starting pitcher and their bullpen are still the bigger issues. They never have too much pitching, too much bullpen. The lineup's just kind of in a slump right now too. Trout was hot though the other day. He had like 4 home runs against the Mariners in like a 3-game set. Yeah, the Mariners kind of got destroyed there. It was kind of sad. Anyways, hockey. Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
Gary Bettman.
The Avalanche. The Avalanche absolutely demolished the Lightning those first 2 games, and then the Lightning came back and they beat them up their own.
Well, the first game was really close.
Went to overtime.
Had a really good start. And then Andre Burakovsky does it again.
What do you mean no?
No, it wasn't close. Fake news.
Overtime doesn't mean close game.
Doesn't. It's all about the momentum and the vibes,
The momentum and the vibes were pretty close.
Nope. I watched the entire game. I was there.
You were there?
I was there at Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, because that's where the game was held.
That's where the Colorado Avalanche play.
It's true.
Colorado's the Avalanche are famous for not playing in their home city.
Yeah, that's why it's called Colorado.
Yeah. No, they're famous for not playing in like their home state,
Yeah.
They won't let a name define them, okay?
Yeah. Anyway, so first game, overtime win for Colorado. Andre Burakovsky does it again. He had 2 goals in Game 7 for the Washington Capitals to eliminate the Lightning way back when. And then he gets another goal in overtime. For whatever reason, in the playoffs, Burakovsky just plays well against the Lightning. And then in that 7-0 blowout in Game 2, by the Colorado Avalanche, he notches another goal. So he has like 4 goals in 3 playoff games versus the Lightning. And then unfortunately, he was out with an injury in Game 3. And without him and Kadri, you can tell that Colorado was like losing some momentum down that depth. And Tampa just looked like the better team. They had those lucky bounces. And Andre Vasil, and then Tampa's just really good late in the series. Like they usually start off flat, but then they come kicking after games 1 and 2, like they did the Rangers.
Yeah.
This series is not over yet.
I mean, I think also, I don't know. I think it's part of it's also like they've had experience. They've done this, been there, done that.
Yeah.
They know how to win.
They always have that veteran experience to fall back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean it's good. I think that's part of the reason why I believe in them so heavily to win the whole thing and have for a hot minute now. Just because, I mean, they have the experience. They've been there, they've done that. It's kind of like, they're a dynasty,
Yeah.
So.
And as we said, yeah.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Because it was something that caught my eye in each of these last 2 hockey games. It was that, and I know in professional sports you never give up, but for lack of a better term, when do NHL teams put their scrubs in?
You never really put your scrubs in an NHL game, even if it's like a blowout. You're still just rotating in the lineup unless you're like benching a guy for whatever reason.
Right, because Cale Makar scored a goal in the third to make it 7-0, right? And apparently the Lightning weren't too happy about that. And then the Lightning had a power play late in the third when they were up 6-2, and they put their top line out there. And I was just thinking,
it's so dumb. That narrative about how dare they put their first line out there. It's like, it's the playoffs. Get the fuck over it. Like, you're going against the best of the best. You're in the NHL. You're going against the best of the best on a regular basis. Why wouldn't you put your first power play unit out there?
When was it in the game?
There were like 5 minutes to go in the game, and they were up 4.
I mean, like, you could score 4 goals in 5 minutes.
No, I know. I wasn't disagreeing with them.
I mean,
it was something that the announcers brought up that I thought was interesting.
The leads, you can never lose the lead.
Because you see it in basketball.
Oh, wait. You can never not lose the lead,
You just said the same thing.
No, that's not what I said. I said you can never lose the lead. Like you can always lose. Game's not over. I don't know.
You see it in basketball a lot, where they just throw their scrubs in at the end of the game because they don't have a chance to come back and they want to not get anyone hurt. And I didn't know if that was a thing in hockey.
But you're in the playoffs.
They did that in the playoffs. It's a very common thing in the playoffs.
Oh, that's weird. I don't watch that much NBA, but it's just like it's the playoffs. You're putting your best players out there. Just like, it's like you get
putting
time
you down
to
15 with a minute to go,
Yeah. Because it's just like you only have so many guys in the lineup. So it's just like at some point you just roll 4. And it's just when it comes to power play units, you only have like 2 set power play units. And so it doesn't really make that big of a difference whether power play 1 or power play 2 goes out. Because when you're deep like Tampa, you have like good players on either lineup.
Nah, put the hidden 5th line out there.
Put shit out there.
Scratch players dressed out there.
That's what I'm saying. Put the scrubs out there.
Put the Zamboni driver out there.
See what he can do.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe the next best.
It's true. There's been so many stories of Zamboni drivers just coming in and shutting down NHL teams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's just dumb to me. Just like just deal with it. Like, there's no mercy in the NHL. You're going to play against the best of the best. You're getting blown out. Whatever. Get over it.
Are there unwritten rules like that in hockey?
There's probably like a few. Like there's one where it's like if you like lay a big hit on the other team's best player, you're going to have to drop the gloves at some point.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean like unwritten rules like running up the score. Again, in basketball, you're supposed to dribble out the clock and take a delay of game penalty or not delay a game, shot clock violation if you're up big in the last minute and the other team, has no chance of winning. You're supposed to just hold on to the ball, take a 24-second violation, and give it back to the other team to end the game. I didn't know if there were unwritten rules.
No, there's
like that.
no unwritten rules like that. If you have the chance to score, you're just gonna put the puck on net or like just go for it because why not? Like, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, it's the same
just
baseball. You're not supposed to swing in a 3-0 count, stuff like that, when you're up a certain amount.
But it's also like a different sport too, because hockey's a lot more of a fluid game. Because basketball, it's a lot easier to maintain possession.
How is basketball not a fluid game?
I probably misworded. I didn't use the right word there. It's
basketball and hockey are
it's easier to kill clock in basketball because you can just hold on to it, take a penalty. Like there's more ways to.
You can only hold on to it for 24 seconds, like maximum.
Exactly, but you have 24 seconds of guaranteed control, possibly.
I think it's hockey and football are more comparable in that way.
Yeah.
Where you can kill time easier.
You can kill time in football pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm saying those are the two easiest, is hockey and football. And then it would be basketball. And you can't kill time in baseball because, there's no clock. And that's why it's so cool.
Well, because like hockey, you can be like go from end to end in like 7 seconds.
You can do the same thing in basketball, man.
but that's with a guaranteed score change. Like if the score can change in basketball with that, and they could also hold on to the ball, and there's the shot clock, and it's easier to maintain possession. And in hockey, it's a lot slower of a scoring game too.
Look, you would think it'd be easier to maintain possession, but watching the final series, I don't think it was easy to maintain possession. There were turnovers every other possession. It was a mess.
Yeah.
It was just, one team brings down the ball, immediately throws it to the other team. In certain cases, they would immediately, before scoring, throw it back to the other team, and it just, it wouldn't work. The Celtics did that too much. That's why they lost. But,
yeah.
It's
also a lot harder to score in hockey than it is in basketball. So it's just like
I think I'd be
have the
concerned
chance
if the final score of a hockey game was 110 to 90.
Yeah.
Well, that's because there's an extra quarter. Sorry, Shane, continue your thought.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. It's just, I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, good.
All right, so other than the playoffs, we have like more general hockey news. Nicholas Backstrom is getting hip resurfacing surgery. And this is probably, in my opinion, I think this is the end of his career right here. I don't think we're ever going to see him play another Capitals hockey game.
Why?
So I've done a lot of looking into this, and other players who have had this surgery at around his age haven't turned out well. So Ryan Kessler is the most recent person to undergo the surgery. He was also 34 years old when he got the surgery, and he didn't play another NHL game after it. And then Ed Jovanovski, he had surgery at the age of 37. He came back after intense rehab, played 37 games, then retired. So if he does play again, I imagine it's going to be at a very limited capacity, and we just won't see the same Nicholas Backstrom ever again.
When did they get those surgeries? Like what year?
Ryan Kessler's was like in 2018 or 2019. Ed Jovanovski was like sometime in the 2000s. I didn't really look too far into that.
Okay. No, I was just asking because, if this is like somebody from I think the early 2000s, I think medicine with these types of things, and we have a better understanding of bodies than we did then, and so it's like the rehab is gonna be different. And I think, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the hope. Like, modern medicine has progressed so much in these past few years. So I wouldn't be surprised if Backstrom actually does play maybe a season, maybe. But even still, it's just a long road to recovery, a lot of uncertainty. Like, he's already played his full career. He's done everything you want to as a player. There's not a huge reason. Like, he doesn't need to come back. He doesn't need to chase that championship. Like, he's in my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer already. You don't think so, Jeremy?
Borderline.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he's first ballot, but I think he gets in at some point.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
Why? You just don't think he has done enough?
I don't know. When I think of Backstrom, I don't. You think of a guy and you think Hall of Fame, right? When I
Yeah,
think of Backstrom, I think, damn, that's a capital of all time.
for sure. Yeah,
That's about it.
his name's going in the rafters.
That's about it. It's about as far as I get. I don't know. I just don't
Yeah.
think of him as a Hall of Famer.
So, so my argument is that you have so he's got the Stanley Cup championship that helps. He's got 1,000 career games, 1,000 career points, really huge milestones for an NHLer. He doesn't have a lot of hardware, obviously, but he has the Rookie of the Year trophy, the Calder Trophy, and then he had a 100-point season at one point. All franchise leader in the Caps for assists, and he will always forever be known as the center who completed Ovi. So like when you talk about Alex Ovechkin, like Nicholas Backstrom is going to get brought up as his playmaker.
Yeah.
Like he was vital. He was a vital part or an important part of Alex Ovechkin's success. So you also have the narrative to go with it. Because you told me in Hall of Fame arguments, sometimes the narrative gets brought up.
It does. It always does.
So you kind of have Backstrom as that you have to mention him when you talk about the history of the NHL.
See, this is what I'm thinking though. This is what I'm thinking though.
I have a question real quick, Jeremy. So of this like generation, how does he rank among those other centers?
This generation?
Like this generation of centers, yeah.
Probably top 5.
Is he the best center of this little group? No.
Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby by far.
I don't know where Sidney Crosby plays on the ice. But
he's probably top 5.
Is this true, Shane?
Oh, wait, who's top 5?
Backstrom. Of this generation of centers.
So I actually looked into this. This past decade, Backstrom was 10th. So from 2010 from 2011 to 2020.
Yep.
Backstrom ranked 10th in points and 2nd in assists this past decade.
I feel very confident putting him at number 5. I couldn't name 2, 3, and 4. I don't think.
Well, if you want to talk about best this past decade, Crosby, Malkin.
Malkin is center.
Malkin's a center.
Okay.
So that's the easy 1 and 2. Claude Giroux he plays center and wing. So Claude Giroux was a beast in the 2010s. Again, a lot of these guys are past their prime now. So Claude Giroux was up there. Anze Kopitar? ? Jonathan Toews, but Backstrom still had more points than both of them. And they were more known for being two-way centers. Like he had more points than Bergeron. So
I feel confident putting him top 5.
Yeah. So again, like he was an elite center, and he put up these numbers despite being in the lowest scoring era of the NHL too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my other question then, so it's like a 2-pronged question. Is this like a deep center class, or is it just? I don't know, because like I don't know, like
Joe Thornton, that's another center.
Yeah,
he was dominant for the Sharks for a bit.
I don't know. I just like, for me, Hall of Fame isn't like the 5th best center of a generation. That's just me, though.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. He's a capital of all time. But
yeah,
back to something I want to say. You say when we talk about Ovechkin, we have to talk about Backstrom as a setter-upper dude.
Yeah.
When we talk about Gretzky, we never talk about whoever set him up. I know we've talked about him before.
Well, because he was the setup guy.
Was he the setup guy?
Yeah, he was the player.
Yeah, he's all-time assist record.
He's also like all-time goal record. There's a little bit of both
he's called
in there.
a great one. He did everything. But yeah, so like Yari Curry, Mark Messier, those were his 2 line mates.
But they never talk about them with it.
Well, yeah, because you're Gretzky. And then you're not as like, again, this is also as someone who's a lot more experienced in the NHL, who has got a lot more NHL knowledge. And then a lot of guys around the NHL will talk about how great of a passer Backstrom is too.
Yeah, that's like his whole thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
But if,
how
like,
he
if
made his
you-
career.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like
exactly. But like when you hear like how other players talk about him and like his peers are part of voting for who gets in the Hall of Fame, like they talk about Backstrom so highly.
Man, that
So,
Babe Ruth can
definitely
really
up
hit
there.
home runs. Tom Brady is a great passer, let me tell you.
Yeah, and so all those guys are Hall of Famers. So when they like talk about this guy, I see a Hall of Fame playmaker.
I know. I'm just giving you crap for
Yeah,
that.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know. Borderline. I think
Yeah.
he's very borderline. I think you can make an argument either way, and a very convincing argument either way. It's
How does Hall of Fame voting work again in hockey? I always forget.
There's a committee. You get nominated and they vote on you.
How many years?
how many per year?
I really should look into this at some point. Hey, are you gonna look that up real quick?
Yeah, I got it.
Like, yeah, like Jeremy, like I get what you're saying. Like
How
I
many years
said,
is he how many years are they eligible for?
indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Okay.
Yeah.
They've got to be retired for 3 years, and they're nominated to an elected 18-person committee.
Yeah. Like
A
I said
maximum
before.
of 4 people per year. I'm trying to look at how many people get nominated a year. You can keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So, like I said before, not first ballot, but gets in eventually. Is my argument.
Okay. That's fair.
And Jeremy, do you think this is the last we see of Nicholas Backstrom?
No.
All right.
I think he'll be back. I think he wants to finish it off with Ovi. I think he wants to be there when he breaks the goal record, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if his hip is gonna let him play those
That's the
years.
question.
With him. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. History is not in favor of it though. But modern medicine, you never know.
There has to be a case, you know? History was never in favor of an ACL tear, returning from an ACL tear until Adrian Peterson came back and rushed for 2,000 yards immediately after that, you know?
Yeah.
There always has to be the case.
Yeah. It's just the fact that it's been ongoing these past few seasons, and this last season, Nicholas Backstrom, you could definitely tell he was playing through something, and now he's getting it worked on again. Just multiple surgeries on the same injuries, never a good sign.
You're right. It is.
And yeah, so I'm either right or just pleasantly surprised. Like I would love to see Nick Backstrom play again, and put up a few more numbers and look good. But it's just not. I'm not too optimistic about this one.
Only 4 male inductees, nomination of candidates.
In other NHL news,
Yeah.
the NHL did it good for the first time in a very long time. They did so good that
Everyone
the
gets to
salary
nominate
cap
one
is
person.
going up.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Everyone gets to nominate one person. Every member of the
Okay,
board, and then they all vote
So
on
like
them.
18 people.
So there's 18 people get nominated every year, and then you have to be retired for 3 years. Is from my understanding how it works, and only 4 can be accepted.
Cool.
So
Makes sense.
there we go. Figured out the Hockey Hall of Fame, guys. Good job.
Wow. You like a genius or something?
No, I'm Hayden.
Wow. That's so inspiring.
Thank you. Anyways, salary cap going up.
It went up.
By like 1 million, right? Per team.
I don't know by how much, but it went up for the first time in like
Yeah.
10 years. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
They
1
did
million
good
per
for
team.
once.
About and I think definitely ESPN and TNT made it easier to watch hockey, and then it helped, of course, things opening up again really helped bring up the salary cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also in hockey news, there's a lot of head coach movement around. So first off, we got we'll just start off with Barry Trotz since he's the big name. He still hasn't signed with the team yet. And he also turned down a $7 million per year contract from the Philadelphia Flyers.
I would. That sounds like a stupid place to go.
Yeah, well, if it was any other place, I would be like, what are you doing? But since it's Philadelphia, I do not blame him one bit. And then I also don't like the makeup of Philadelphia's roster. It's just very mediocre.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah, because you have a lot of old injury like large injury history of players. They're old. And then all the young guys that are coming up, they're not really there's not really an elite prospect among them. It's more like okay tier, good tier prospects, but none of them that are going to take you over the edge. Like they don't have like a Zegras or a Cider. They're all kind of maybe, middle six forward someday, stable player, but no one who's elite coming up.
It's okay to say they suck, Shane.
Listen.
They're solid NHL player, and they don't suck, but they're not.
It's just a bunch of league average guys. It's league average. They don't have the X factor type player.
Yeah.
They don't have their Draisaitl or whatever.
And then you have to rely on Carter Hart to put up a good season again. And he just hasn't looked good these past few years, but they also haven't been playing well in front of them defensively.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Barry Trotz, he's rumored. So the teams that are still available, Winnipeg, his hometown team, they're really trying to recruit him. Practically, he won't have to buy another thing in Winnipeg again, allegedly, since there's a company that's already offering him free beer for the rest of his life if he signs with Winnipeg. And there's a few more campaigns like that for Barry Trotz, so we'll see what happens with that. The Florida Panthers are still looking for a head coach, and Detroit is still an option. You can never count out Steve Yzerman pulling out some magic out of his hat. So those are the most likely options I see. And then Florida, I think it's the only time where a coach of the year nominee is not guaranteed his head coaching job for next season.
Makes sense.
Because he's got one more year as an assistant coach for the Florida Panthers. And so Florida may choose not to go with him, and he's just relegated to an assistant coach again.
Whatever works. They won the President's Trophy when he was under his assistant coach contract, so
Yeah.
Why change things?
Yeah. Have him keep the assistant coach job, but he's also the head coach, so they just don't hire another one.
Mm-hmm. Make him continue to be the interim head coach.
Yeah. Give him another year. You never know.
Yeah. We're still on the trial run. We don't know if you like him yet.
Yeah. So I think if they don't sign Barry Trotz, I think you should keep Andrew Brunette, see what he can do under a full season and another year. That's what I think they should do. And then we also have 3 new head coaches now. So we were talking about Philadelphia earlier since Barry Trotz declined the offer. The new head coach is John Tortorella.
That's a name.
And John Tortorella fits with Philadelphia very well. He is known to be a very outspoken coach with the media, and he's known to be an old school guy who's really hard on his players. So I just think this season is either going to go Philadelphia either does well, and because he's really good at making teams perform above expectation. That's what he did with the Columbus Blue Jackets when they went on those playoff runs. So Philadelphia is definitely a team that fits with the below a lot of people's expectations. So I wouldn't be surprised if he manages to get them to a playoff spot. Or it's going to be a complete tire fire. I feel like there's going to be no in between. They're either going to be god awful or they're going to be a competitive playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big difference, Shane.
Yeah,
exactly. They're a big boomer, but with this coaching decision, it's a big boomer bust season.
Shane can't be wrong about the Flyers this season.
That's what he's just either done. They're going somewhere between, it's 82 games, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna either win 0 games or an 82 or somewhere in between that. I'm not entirely sure.
They're winning
I don't agree
between
with you
0 and
often, but
82
like I think
games.
I'm inclined to agree with you on this one.
Yeah. What can I say? I know my hockey shit.
Oh yeah.
I know my stuff.
It's true. Look at him. He's got the hair for it.
What the hair? Just, like pull it all back real quick. Let's just. Do I have a hair tie? I do. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so then Bruce Cassidy, former head coach of the Boston Bruins, signed with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a good fit. It's just kind of, veteran core with the veteran coach. Vegas looking to turn it back after a disappointing season. And then Peter DeBoer, former head coach of the Knights, signs with the Dallas Stars. He used to coach San Jose also, and he's done really well in his first year of coaching for NHL teams. He's made it to the conference final every time in his first tenure with the new team. So there's like that weird statistic there to throw in. So maybe that weird correlation happens again.
Only one way to find out.
Yep.
Fire him before the season starts.
Yep. And then NHL awards are going to be announced tonight.
What? What? What's so funny?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
And then the NHL awards are going to be announced tonight. So we'll talk more about it next show.
What's so funny,
Yup.
Jeremy? Jeremy, explain. What's so funny? Why are we laughing? Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
No,
Don't worry about it.
No, what's
Don't
up?
worry about it. I need you to not worry about it.
No, now I'm worrying about it.
It's not good for you to worry.
Jeremy, all you do is make me worry.
Stress isn't good for you. You know that?
Jeremy,
Bad for the skin. It'll make you break out.
Soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach.
True.
Yeah. Camp
Wow.
Rock.
417.
417. What?
Never mind.
I'm so confused.
I know you are.
Jeremy, I don't like this. Why are you so mean to me? Is there anything else hockey you want to talk about?
Nothing new in hockey.
No, that's it. That's all the news I have so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hayden, what's going on in
Anyways,
baseball?
What do you mean? I wanted to talk about there's this guy, right? There's this guy. I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name's Dan Schneider, right?
Daniel Schneider?
Yeah. He's the owner of some NFL team. And,
Yes.
I heard he's in some legal trouble, Jeremy, and I want you to tell me about this because, he's in legal trouble for a lot of different things, and so I wasn't entirely sure which one he was in trouble for, and I need you to explain this to me.
Oh, so Daniel Schneider,
Mm-hmm.
famous asshole, notable owner and rich man,
Mm-hmm.
of the Washington Commanders, currently is under investigation from the big boys upstairs, the U.S. government.
Thought it was God. The big boy upstairs.
The guy from the Lego movie?
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman?
No, not Morgan Freeman. What was it?
He just sounds a lot
What
like.
was his name? Oh my god. Who voices
Chris Pratt?
No, not Chris Pratt. How am I blanking on this guy's name?
Morgan Freeman.
No. I already said Morgan Freeman.
Samuel L. Jackson.
He was not in that movie.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh my god, I'm gonna punch you. Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah,
What?
because
okay,
it was upstairs, and you remember President Business? He's no fun.
Yeah, President Business is no fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, the government is cracking down because of the whole, stealing and lying about taxes. Uh, the government doesn't take kindly to people that, takes their money. They don't like that too much. So he's under investigation, and he was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not going to show up in Congress and testify. So,
Smart.
the Congress was like, we gave him all the opportunities. We said he didn't even have to be there in person. We're going to let him call in from France, which I don't know why he's in France. First of all, who decides to spend the off season in France? That's such a
To
random.
avoid the government.
France, though, you could have gone anywhere.
What do you got against France?
It's France, my man.
Bonjour, baguette.
I've never been there, so I don't know.
Oui, oui.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hayden gets it. But he was like, nah, I'm good. And they basically said, hey, he's obviously got something to hide if he doesn't want to come talk to us. That logic. If he doesn't want to talk to us, he's got something to hide. So that's something
probably.
Probably. He definitely does. He's got so many things to hide. And because, lying in front of Congress is a federal crime on top of tax fraud. So 2 federal crimes, and maybe even more that they might uncover. It does not look good for you.
It's never looked good to begin with.
No, but this is the first time that, the government, scary.
But I think can they do anything since he's in France? Like, how would they go about
He's a U.S.
forcing
citizen.
him to go trial?
It's the government, man.
They
France is
asked.
an ally. France isn't going to be like, oh yeah, this piece of shit, absolutely will protect him. Nah. Nah. They wouldn't do that.
Probably do the same thing in Catch Me If You Can. You ever seen that movie?
No.
Is that the Leonardo Tom Hanks
Yeah,
one?
where he like scams by writing fake checks, and then he runs away to Europe, but he eventually gets captured and taken back to the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a famous movie, Jeremy.
I know which movie you're talking about. I do.
Yeah.
I've just never seen it.
Yeah. So there's got to be a way they can like force him to stand trial, even though he's
It's
also
not
a billionaire.
It's not a criminal. It's not a case yet. They're just investigating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no charges. They're just investigating right now.
I can't pop him with perjury because he won't testify.
That explains it, because I thought he was like, they had something on him, so he had to like testify or whatever. I don't know how.
I mean, they have stuff on him. That's why they're asking him to show up in the investigation.
But not enough to incriminate him?
Probably. I don't know the whole thing. They don't release those details.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the situation going on over there.
Wasn't that so fun?
It's so fun. We love a complicated international legal battle. Yeah, entering with our NFL football.
With a guy who also allegedly has dirt on other people in the NFL.
Allegedly. The USFL's going on right now too.
I think the playoffs are starting in a second.
Yep, they are.
I don't watch the USFL. That is boring.
I don't know. I came home from Cheesecake Factory the other night, and it was just on.
So, you're just like, I'm gonna watch it.
I've turned also my team sucks, so like, it's not fun. They're like 1-8 or something.
As they should be.
They're the worst team in the league.
They should be.
So,
No one likes you, Jeremy. Loser.
Wow.
Who are you rooting for?
The Pittsburgh Maulers. They had cool colors.
I'll do it.
There was no Washington team, so I didn't have a team to root for.
We'll buy into the expansion.
Yep, you and me. And Shane a little bit.
Yeah.
What?
That was a sentence. Don't question it.
It sure was.
Anyways, I had a question for you guys that's baseball related. So Manny Machado sprained his ankle. He's going to be out for a little bit. He might avoid the IL, is the news that's coming out right now. And then Mookie Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers fractured his rib. And it looks pretty bad. Which one do you think is worse for their respective team?
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
The Dodgers, as we've talked about a lot on this show, have a scary lineup. A lineup that, even without Mookie Betts, boasts, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, Max
Freddie Freeman's
Muncy.
not having a good year, Jeremy.
I don't care. It's Freddie Freeman.
Still plenty of season.
Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, all these guys,
Cody Bellinger.
Will Smith. Yeah. Will Smith. Yeah. The Dodgers are fine. Like, losing Mookie Betts is a massive blow. Mookie Betts is very, very good at baseball. But I have a feeling, just for some reason, that they'll be okay without him.
Did you hear who his replacement is?
I'm scared. Who is it?
I believe it is Trace Thompson.
Oh, I'm not scared anymore.
Do you know who his brother is?
Tristan Thompson.
No.
Harry
There's
Thompson.
this guy named Clay, I believe.
Oh, I was thinking of the wrong Thompson in basketball.
I think he's pretty good at basketball, this Clay Thompson guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're brothers.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And then, Jeremy, did you see the O'Neal Cruz things?
I did. I didn't see all of the O'Neal Cruz things, but I saw one O'Neal Cruz thing where he threw a ball across an infield at like 100 miles an hour.
97 miles per hour.
It was scary, and it was cool, and
that's the hardest thrown ball by an infielder in baseball so far. Like this year.
Ever. And it's got to be ever.
It's this year. This was his first game. That was his first game of the season.
Dude, man crow hops. He didn't even really crow hop. He just took like a shuffle.
It was a backhanded, just kind of like going back behind him like this. I mean, I'll stand up just so you can see. I'm a lefty, so this is going to be not right. But he went backhanded like that, grabbed it, and then threw it. 97 miles per hour. And just beat the runner. He also has the hardest recorded hit by a Pirate. Which was 113 miles per hour off the bat. Yeah, this guy's really good. I don't know why he wasn't up.
I need to show you this. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh. Where are you gonna?
I was gonna share my screen, but Hayden doesn't let me share my screen.
Oh, here.
I could just Google it real quick.
No.
It needs to be on the show.
All right, live reaction.
Live reaction.
Co-host. Yes. I'll make you a co-host, Shane. Now you should be able to share screen.
Share screen. Here it is. Share it. All right. Here it is. Look at this. Boom. Boom.
Wow, what a split by the first baseman.
Yeah. But, the throw, though, you see how fast that ball was going? That was faster than the pitch. Nah. I'm not going to lie to you. It looked faster the first time I looked at it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, no. It's ridiculous. And like I said, just beat him. Michael Chavis is a second baseman, by the way, so it's good grab by him. And also, I don't know why I have this feeling. Maybe it's because they just absolutely destroy the Dodgers. But, this Pirates team is,
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Isn't this the same team that's only getting paid $50 million or something?
Yes.
Their payroll is $58 million right now, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
They
have got pieces. If O'Neal Cruz can continue to be
he's 6'7", by the way.
That's a big boy.
He's 6'7", 220 pounds.
What is he doing playing baseball?
They're pulling in Oakland.
Why is he playing baseball?
That guy is literally
that's basically LeBron James.
No. There's a guy on the Celtics. Who is the Celtics here?
Jason Tatum.
No.
Jaylen Brown.
Yes, I think it's Jaylen Brown. Oh, let me look.
Yeah, that's practically LeBron James's build. Maybe add like 20 pounds or so, but like that's insane. What is he doing playing baseball?
Right? Like, and he just hits the ball super hard. He's so good. They had this guy, Jack Sawinski, the other night. He hit 3 home runs in a single game, and the last one was a walk-off home run. Uh, that's exciting. They have this guy in center field. Not sure if you've heard of him. He was kind of an MVP front runner for a little bit last year. Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
Out there in center field, who's really good.
You got Cabrian Hayes at third. He's solid.
His that left side of the infield is fun. Hoy Park is kind of underrated. Like, he's a solid second baseman. Mitch Keller, if he starts to finally put it all together. Roansy Contreras is good. And they have this one guy in the bullpen, not sure if you've heard of him, David Bednar.
I have heard of him.
Really good. David Bednar is genuinely one of the best closers in baseball right now, and no one's talking about him. I mean, he's getting hyped now, but, like, he's insane. Strikes out 36% of the people that come up to the plate against him. It's just, I kind of like this Pirates team.
I wouldn't go that far. I think they're a piece away.
Like them.
I think first of all they need pitching. Second of all, yeah, I think that's it. They need pitching.
Yeah. Also, can they please release Felipe Vasquez already?
Yeah. I'll get on it.
I don't know why he's still technically in an organization. I don't know. But yeah. I don't even know what else to say. I like this team a lot. They have a couple solid pieces still coming on up. I think that's all. Oh, and they have, bro, their AA team stacked. I don't even know about this. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through their Fangraphs page, and it's a scary team.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be
bargain price of $58 million.
Yeah. It's
very Oakland A's-esque, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
I mean, they also just paid Cabrian Hayes for like a good amount of time, and they got him on a good deal.
Oh, they got him on a really good deal. But
they way underpaid him.
Well, I mean, I mean, he's making
like
$70 million
over 8 years, right?
Yep, with a club option for the last one.
I think he could have made made 100.
Payroll. Let me look. I'm gonna look. What is that last year? Oh, it doesn't even come up. His last 2 years are options or whatever, I believe. I don't know. Words hard. Brain no work. They also have like half their team on the IL right now. With like COVID. So that's also happening. Another fun team that like doesn't get talked about a lot is the Orioles. Like I think the
Adley
Orioles,
Rutschman.
The Orioles are good.
Got solid outfielders.
The
Pretty good
Orioles
outfielders.
team, like their lineup is really good.
Aren't they still at the bottom of their division?
Well, their division is stacked.
When you have the team who has won 50 games when they've played 67, you have the Yankees who are doing that, by the way. We haven't talked about them a whole lot. They're really good. You have the Blue Jays who are 38 and 29. You have the Red Sox who are 37 and 51. You have the Rays who are 36 and 31. And then you have the Orioles who are 30 and 38.
Oh, I didn't even realize they were doing that well. I was just like, and then Baltimore's at the bottom.
They're only 8 games below 500, and they're about to go up 2. They're about to sweep the Nats in their 2-game set.
Yeah.
Like, this Orioles team is good.
I don't know, man. The Nats are hot. They got Ter Trualt or whoever his face
Justin Trualt.
Yeah.
I mean, Orioles, man, they got Mullins.
He won a game, Hayden.
Anthony Santander, Austin Hayes, Ryan Mountcastle. You know, Trey Mancini's swinging it.
Cedric Mullins.
Yeah, I already said Cedric.
No, you didn't.
I did say Cedric Mullins. I mean, their bullpen's really good. They've got like 3 really good back end arms right now. You know, they just need some prospects to come up, and then they're good. They've got 2 really good pitchers in their AAA team right now. DL Hall and Grayson Rodriguez. Grayson Rodriguez is hurt right now, but Hall's gonna come up soon. This baseball's fun. I'm excited for the future. There's a lot of really good young guys coming up. But the Mariners are dead. They're bad. Mariners aren't good.
Wow.
What happened to them?
They came back down to earth.
Yeah, they're just...
They stopped defying all logic and started losing when they were supposed to lose.
Like, it's just... I mean... The pitching hasn't been good. That's what it is. Flexen wasn't good. Marco wasn't good. Their bullpen's been atrocious. It's just... Yeah.
Everything that can go wrong went wrong.
Yeah, no, there's not a single guy in their bullpen who's rated as like a top 60 pitcher or relief pitcher in the league.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. But yeah, that's all I really did. I don't think there's any other fun baseball things I want to talk about. Jeremy, is there any fun baseball things you want to talk about?
No, I can't think of anything. You know, there's not much. We covered it.
We covered it.
We did it. Look at us go. We're good at this.
We're good.
We're like professionals.
We're like done this a few times.
Yeah.
Just a few.
There were a couple of big NBA moves this last week. The most notable has to do with Kyrie Irving.
Oh, here we go again.
Kyrie Irving and the Nets apparently don't see eye to eye and are having disagreements on contract. I believe it's an option year for one of them.
I asked you.
Huh?
I'm looking it up.
What do you mean by it's an option year?
So you know how contracts have options?
Sure.
That.
So what's the option?
To not play or not to play for the team. Kyrie Irving at an impasse. Whatever. He's considering the open market. It doesn't say which. I'm assuming it's a player option. So they're considering the market. Teams that are apparently front runners are the Lakers and the Knicks.
He's going to join LeBron again?
That would be super interesting. He wanted to leave LeBron to prove he could win on his own, right?
Yeah.
And
Look how well that
went
turned out.
so good for him that now he might possibly maybe be crawling all the way back to LeBron. After a nice long 6-year journey without him, you know? Or he could go to New York, where he was expected to sign with the Knicks before he signed with Brooklyn.
I'm not seeing anything about an option.
I'm not seeing anything about an option either. It just said he's free to test the open market because they're in the impasse.
Because he wants a long-term deal, and the Nets still want to give him that, according to an NBC Sports article I'm reading right now by Dan Feldman. Shout out to you, Dan.
What do you think he does? Because I feel like he's gonna move on. I don't think he's gonna crawl back to LeBron. I feel like the Knicks, it seems like the logical choice.
No, he has a player option for the 2022 season and a June 29th deadline to accept it. That's what it is. That's what's happening. It's a $39 million player option, or $36.9 million player option. That's what's going on right now.
I mean,
So
okay.
here's the question for the Nets. Can you win? Obviously, they want him back. Like, there's no question about that. They want Kyrie back in the building because, he's Kyrie Irving. He's so good at basketball. Probably a top 10 point guard of all time. He's
It's just
up-
there's a lot of drama surrounding it.
There is. But it's all been cleared. Everything's been cleared for him to come back and play this season. There's no more COVID situation stopping him. He'll be back. Ben Simmons supposedly will be back.
Allegedly.
Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He's top player in the world right now, probably second best player in the world right now. And
is LeBron still first or
Giannis?
Giannis is all right.
Yes. It is a scary team. It's a very scary team, and it's just whether or not Kyrie wants to come back. And he mentions the Lakers and the Knicks. The Knicks are interesting for me because they aren't. If he wants to prove that he can win by himself, right? The Knicks are the place to go. They have Julius Randle as their star. He's good, but he's only had really one really good season, and that was when there were no fans allowed. So there's a thought that he just can't handle fans. And when you play in New York, not being able to handle fans is not a good thing. So, New York is an interesting option. He can choose. He can prove that he can win by himself. It's a solid team. It's just not a team filled with stars. Now, alternatively, you go to the Lakers, right? You go to the Lakers, you rejoin with your good old buddy LeBron James. He replaces Russell Westbrook, who requested a trade because, of course, he did. And maybe even you have a sign and trade kind of thing where the Lakers send, where the Nets and Lakers swap point guards, and the Lakers would have to give up. Probably they'd have to give up a lot along with Westbrook to make that happen. But, maybe that happens. I don't see that happening, but I think it's interesting.
What do you see happening?
He's going to stay with the Nets.
One team that you didn't mention that I'm seeing in this Athletic article is the Clippers are like the other team that's like kind of in on him.
Well, the Clippers, I don't know if they have enough money. They've got a rich owner. They've got Kawhi coming back.
They would need this. Their salary cap is the issue for them.
Yeah, but they can pay the luxury tax. They have enough money.
No, they're the hard cap.
It's a hard cap in the NBA?
No, there's the luxury tax and there's a hard cap, and they're going to be over both.
Oh.
So they would need to figure that out first.
They could figure it out if they really wanted him. He would join up there with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's a good ass team. Go to LA.
That's if they could pull off the whole salary cap shenanigans.
There's a bunch of players who they just send out like two guys and they're good.
Yeah, there's people that are eating cap space on the Clippers that they don't need.
The article says sending out 2 or 3 of Norman Powell, Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard, and Reggie Jackson.
There it is. Yep, Reggie Jackson and Norman Powell. Those are the guys I was thinking, because Reggie Jackson becomes a little more expendable with Kyrie, and Norman Powell is just eating salary. So that'll do it.
Yeah.
Markieff Morris. He's past his prime, or Marcus Morris, I guess. And Luke Kennard is just average. So these are all expendable guys.
And they can also send like some young guys to just it makes sense for them, but
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to pull these things off.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens. It's very interesting.
And there was also that huge trade that happened too.
Yeah, Christian Wood got sent to the Mavericks. It wasn't that big of a trade. It was just because Christian Wood is like the Rockets' big star, and the Rockets kind of suck. They just drafted Jalen Green, and I think this clears the way for them to draft a player at the same position and play him because they have like the top 3 pick. And they got back a haul. They got Boban, super tall man. They got a first round pick. They got 2 other players that are just kind of role players. These are all role players and a first round pick that they got for a really good player. So it's kind of an even trade, and it works out for both teams. You know, you get another star for Luka because he needs help. You know, he took him to the conference finals by himself, but if they want to get over the hump, he's going to need someone. And Christian Wood's a really good start there. And, you know, now the Rockets clear up playing time for these guys they're going to draft, these young guys. So we'll see what happens there.
How much do you think this improves the Mavericks?
I think it's a massive improvement for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Like I said, they needed to do something if they wanted to improve on losing in the conference finals, you know? They needed to do something to add some help because Luka is Luka. He's insane. He's very good. But you need another star in the NBA nowadays. You need at least 2 stars, right? And they got another one. So that's going to be massive.
Thought we were snapping, my bad.
So he's like star number 2 for them?
He is star 2, yes. Absolutely,
All right.
he is.
I don't know. It's just like you've got to do something, but again, it's just kind of hard to compete with some of the other like bigger teams.
I don't know,
in
man.
that
They made it to
conference.
the conference finals. They
Yeah,
lost
but it
to
was
the
just like
Juggernaut Warriors.
yeah, but I feel like who do they lose to? The Suns?
The Warriors.
No. I mean, who do they beat? That was the upset. The Suns.
The Suns, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, do the Suns address their weaknesses and get better?
The Suns are going to get worse.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to re-sign DeAndre Ayton, who is a solid centerpiece, is a solid third star for them.
Yes.
And I don't know how Chris Paul's going to rebound. You know, he kind of took a real sharp downward turn once he turned, 37, 38? So I don't know how he'll be fine, but I think they get a little worse. I think they'll still be top playoff team, but they get worse.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So yeah, they're definitely up there for contention.
Yeah. And we were speaking of coaches earlier. Kenny Atkinson, who is the assistant coach for the Warriors currently, was announced as the hire for the Charlotte Hornets. He 2 days ago, something like that. He came out and he said, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to stay with the Warriors. So
I do not blame him.
No, I don't blame him. But it resets the entire market there. You know, that's a solid young team to go into. Michael Jordan's their owner. That's got some sway. It doesn't matter that much, but it's just something out there.
He's the owner of
the Hornets, yeah.
Hornets?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, he's the owner. So they met with another coach, Mike D'Antoni, former Rockets coach. That could be a good fit there. But Kenny Atkinson returns to the Warriors. I think that's a smart move for him. He'll get another job later. He seems very Josh McDaniels to me. Josh McDaniels was supposed to be the head coach, the successor to Bill Belichick in New England. But Bill Belichick just never retired, so he moved on this year. He also did a very similar thing where he left the Colts at the altar. They had a whole press conference and everything, and he just turned around, decided not to go. So
fun.
Yeah.
Is he still coaching for the Patriots?
No, he got hired by the Raiders this season. So
Oh, okay.
he's the head coach in Oakland or Las Vegas.
Wow. So wow, what an off season. That I didn't even realize that's That division is going to be so competitive.
And I think the Chiefs missed the playoffs. Hot take.
Well, they just got rid of their wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's true. They did
Kind of
get rid
need
of one.
those. That's kind of an important position.
It is a little important.
I mean, that really doesn't surprise me. It's just all of those teams in that division are so good.
If you said the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs next season to anyone last season,
Yeah.
they'd laugh you out of the room, you
Yeah.
know?
But but it's just like with all the stuff that happened, it's just
Yeah.
they got like Denver got Russell Wilson, and then Devontae Adams went to Oakland, also the new head coach, and then San Diego they have Justin Herbert, and they got who's that? Who's the guy on the Bears they got? I don't know if he's
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, yeah.
J.C.
That's
Jackson, they got a lot of people. Sebastian Joseph Day. They're solid. They fixed their defense. That was the issue last year.
Allegedly.
It was.
Yeah.
The offense could keep up with anyone.
No, I'm just saying they fixed it for now, but we'll see if the Chargers are still gonna.
On paper,
Chargers,
you're right. On
Chargers
paper, they
always
fixed the
find a
defense.
way.
Yeah, you're right. The Chargers are going to charger.
Yeah. The Chargers are gonna break at some point.
The Chargers are going to met. That's
Yeah.
how it is. That's how it always is.
They're always gonna they're gonna run out of battery.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. That's pretty good. Hayden.
Yeah.
Guess what time it is?
Well, actually, I have two questions.
Oh yeah, here, go for it.
My one, we're going all the way back to the NHL. I know we talked about that a while ago, but we didn't talk. Now going forward in the series, like, who do y'all think is winning it? We've got 3 games under our belt, 4 more.
I'm not betting against Tampa. You can't bet against them until yeah. I'm fully on board the Tampa bandwagon.
I saw one NHL writer say that Game 3 was like a momentum changer, like a complete series changer.
It's eerily similar to how the Rangers series is going.
I am on the Tampa. I still say Tampa's gonna win, but I could feel the momentum shift in the Rangers series in Game 3. Okay, that last minute goal, I could feel the momentum change like that on a dime. Okay. That was a momentum shift right there. What this was a really good victory. This is not something the Colorado Avalanche cannot recover from.
Yeah.
It's
going to be a much closer
this is
series.
a more veteran squad than the
It's not even that. Like, I watched the soul leave the Rangers' body at the end of Game 3. Okay? I watched that happen. This didn't happen in Game 3 of this one.
Yeah, and Colorado is just missing Burakovsky and Kadri. That's just brutal. I just don't know how Braden Point's still out, but it's just missing those two guys. Those are like significant parts of your lineup. And I feel like Andre Burakovsky is he's played so well against Tampa. And I know it's like, those random correlations, like you shouldn't bet anything on it. But when a player's got a team's number, he's got a team's number.
Andre Burakovsky wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. I'm betting my house on it.
For one series.
I mean, if you pop off hard enough in the finals, that's the most important series, some would say. Those are the most important games you're going to play all year.
It's true.
It's true. And now, for my other question, I've asked this one before. Who's a player, who you think was, really good, right, in the history of sports, but, they don't get the respect they deserve, I've asked this before, I know. But, it's a good question.
Okay. Let me see.
Take
All
your
right.
time with it.
I got you.
Okay.
It's a whole position group. I'm gonna say a couple names, but it's a position group. Kickers in the NFL. Okay, that shit is hard. That shit is hard as fuck, my man.
What
You
do you mean?
All
can't.
the
Just gotta kick
pressure
the
in the
ball.
world.
Just kick the ball.
There's so much pressure on you. You can't. It's so hard. Justin Tucker, Adam Vinatieri, these guys get all the credit in the world. But you go look at a guy like Robbie Gould. You go look at a guy like, Lawrence Tynes, Giants legend. You've never heard of him.
It's true. Never.
Man made so many kicks. Man sent and won the Giants multiple Super Bowls. This dude, it's a kicker position. It's not super exciting. It's not flashy, but they need more credit there.
Well, this one I was just kind of.
Do you need
I
more
really
time?
wish I had more time to like do a research on this answer, but the one I'm thinking of right now, like Mike Green for the Washington Capitals,
That's a good answer.
he was so good. Like he was easily the best offensive defenseman like during that time. Like having a 30-goal season as a defenseman, like no one has done that since like the 90s. Like it's still one of the all-time like seasons goals for a season for a defenseman. And it's like it's such a unique achievement, and like there hasn't been another defenseman to put up that kind of production goal scoring wise. And he did that in a shortened season. He only played 69 games. So imagine he could have been pushing 40 if he stayed healthy. So like he had an underrated career as an offensive defenseman. If he didn't get injured, imagine like what other numbers he could have put up.
Yeah.
In a similar vein, there's this guy. There's been this little kind of conversation that's been going on Twitter about if Steven Strasburg's career is a disappointment or it's like underwhelming. Has he lived up to the hype? And all I'm gonna say is he got his ring. He's a World Series MVP, and no, his career is not disappointing at all. I mean, it sucks. Injuries happen, but he still's had an amazing career. He's still, I still think he'll probably finish his career top 100 in strikeouts all time by a pitcher. I mean, what more can you ask for?
I had this conversation with my dad actually, like a week ago. Like when the injury happened and it came out that he was like
going back
most
on the
likely
IL.
pretty done, and he had asked me. He said, "Was it the World Series run that did this to him?" And I said, "Yeah, probably. It was inevitable, but."
I mean, he's just injury prone. I don't think it's anything about the World Series.
No. So I was talking, or this is what my dad said. Years ago, he was talking to this guy who's like, I forget what kind of doctor he was, but he was saying the way Strasburg throws the ball, it's, you've seen him throw. It's all violent and jerky.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to destroy his arm. That's what he had said, right? So I'm going to take that as gospel when I say this here, right? That's what I'm going off of.
Mm-hmm.
It was inevitable, right? The way he throws, the motion,
Yeah.
it was going to happen at some point. He already had Tommy John. He'd already dealt with various injuries. Something was going to happen, and I think if the Nats hadn't used him so hard in the World Series run, he'd have another couple years in the tank, right? I feel that strongly, but would I use him that strongly in the World Series run 10 times out of 10? Absolutely, I would.
Yeah, if you're guaranteed a World Series.
That is absolutely worth it every time. The goal of a player is to win a ring, and he got a ring. It might have taken 2 years off of his career, but
I mean, I think he can still. I mean, he had a rough start on paper, but I think he's still being rushed back from this injury. I think literally just give him the rest of the year off and fully come back. Because the thoracic outlet syndrome is tough to come back from. I mean, look at what happened to Matt Harvey, and that's even without the whole, I don't know,
being a bad person,
being a gross person thing. Strasburg is a much better person than Matt Harvey. So I don't know. I mean, it
was
sucks.
he super hyped up when he was
Who, Strasburg?
yeah, like I just since I
Oh,
don't follow baseball, I don't know how hyped up this guy was coming
he
in.
was so.
Uh,
He had one of the most exciting and most hyped up debuts of all time. He had one of the greatest debuts of all
yes,
time.
Yeah.
he
He
came out and he struck out 13 or 14 batters. Debut.
Wow.
he is like, it was like, if you ask any like Nationals fan who was a fan and watched baseball back then, you're like, what were you doing? Like, where were you when you watched Strasburg's debut? Because everyone watched Strasburg's debut. He was
True.
one of the most
Yeah.
hyped prospects. He's one of the few 1-1 starting pitching, like, draft picks who's
Yeah,
had a
he went
great
first
career.
overall in 2009, I believe, or 2010, something like that.
Gotcha.
And there's not many pitchers who have had that were selected 1-1 that have had better careers than him. I mean, top one first overall picks MLB, right? And we're just looking at this, right? In this random article, Carlos Correa is one, but he's a pitcher. Garrett Cole, David Price, that's about it. Those are the only pitchers who are better than him, in my opinion, that were selected 1-1.
Gotcha.
And I only gave David Price a nod because he won a Cy Young.
David Price was the best pitcher in baseball for a couple years there.
Yeah.
And then he fell off a cliff.
All right. So yeah, he was like highly taught. Like during the draft, they're like, "Oh, this guy's like a guaranteed starting pitcher."
He was super highly.
Yeah.
It was a lot of hype over him.
Gotcha.
Not as much hype as like Bryce Harper got, but
I'm close.
But there was still a lot of hype when you go 1 overall. There's still hype there.
Sorry, I'm scrolling through the all-time list to see if I can just find any names that I missed.
There's not a lot of pitchers that won 1 overall. I looked at that list on Saturday actually, because I was talking about Nat's first overall picks with my dad after the baseball game. So
no, there's not. Yeah, no. I mean, 1965 is as far back as those I'm looking at. And I mean, like, let's talk about the pitchers real quick. After Strasburg, Garrett Cole was drafted in 2011. And then the next two pitchers, Brady Aiken and Mark Apel, were both in 2013, 2014. Never made the big leagues. Never made the big leagues. Casey Mize, he's up now, but he's still young, so we can't really.
He just
say
made his
about
debut like this year, didn't he?
Like last year. So like, I mean, a lot of the times, like these prospects, they just flame out in the minors.
Yeah.
Strasburg made it to the big leagues, which on its own is a massive success, and then to be so good where you're like, here, I mean, I'll pull it up. Why not? Let's pull it up real quick. We'll be very quick with this.
So then consensus is he did not have a disappointing career.
Around here, I mean, there's people, and I completely understand the argument. He was drafted 1 overall, and they're looking now at mainly what the argument is that I've been seeing is he won the World Series and then he signed this massive contract, whatever it is.
It's like 7 years, $245 million.
Whatever, two, and he's played 2 games since he signed the contract, and it's been 2 years, 3 years now.
Yeah.
And people are saying that's incredibly disappointing. You just signed him to a 7-year deal, and he's done. He's played 2 games in that contract.
But it's like injuries, though. It's just like one of those things where it's like
you can't control it.
Yeah, it's out of his control, so you can't like.
They're not saying it's a bad career. They're saying it's disappointing based on what could have been. Is what the argument is for that.
Again, it's just hard to talk about hypotheticals.
He's tied 138 overall in strikeouts.
Yeah.
In his career.
Yeah.
Strikeout machine.
Considering the history of the MLB, 138 is phenomenal.
Not better than Pud Galvin. Aiden, I know he's better than Pud Galvin, so you don't need to look
No,
it up.
he's not actually.
Actually?
Pud Galvin is 117th on this list.
Speaking of underrated careers,
Pud Galvin, let me tell you. Oh my, this guy could twirl it. All right, don't even get me
back
started.
in 1886.
1886, man. Played for 4 teams throughout his career. I mean,
People don't talk about him enough.
not many people post a 2.96 FIP for their career, man. I mean, I'm just looking at this list, right? The guy in front of him, right, has 2,328 career innings pitched. Guy in front of him, 1,813. The two people behind him, 4,500, 3,000, 2,400. And then there's just Pud Galvin with 6,000 innings pitched. Let me tell you, Pud Galvin got to that 7,000 mark.
Going.
If he had that 7,000 mark, I think he might be the greatest pitcher of all time. It's a shame his arm fell off.
Aiden, we need a Pud Galvin poster for the apartment.
Okay, I'm on it. I'll go find one.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up, or I don't know.
In conclusion,
Yeah.
Pud Galvin is the GOAT. If anybody disagrees, you can fight me.
Yeah. All right. I need both of you guys to Venmo me $10.
Wait, what?
I will. Are you serious? Are you buying it actually?
Oh, I found one. Oh, this one's, how big is it? Oh, it's
On a
size.
post.
How big do you want it? 13 by 19?
I want something that'll fit.
What's 13 by 19? How big is that? That's like
Big, I think.
a
I didn't
foot,
realize we're actually
like a
playing.
little, like a foot by a little bit more than a foot. That's kind of small.
We can talk about this later, man.
Yeah, let's talk about this later.
All right. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the show. I'm one of your hosts, Hayden Raymer, joined as always by my lovely friends and co-hosts.
Shane Brisland.
Jeremy Lapidus, thank you so much for listening and watching to the Triple Threat Show.